Usato was surprised when Rose told him that he would be in the vanguard with her to heal the wounded in the war against the demon army. Usato had doubts that he could do it, but he also asked about the roles of Tong and the others, as well as the 2 other healers. Rose explained that they had different roles, and since Usato still doubts his ability, she asked him to use the little time left to steal himself. The demon army had finished preparing their troops, ready to advance at any time. The demon lord asked Amila to lead the army, but he reminded her that although he was expecting her utmost effort, she didn't need to fight to death. Amila promised to do her best, so the demon lord thought she was too serious. Hyraluk, the demon doctor, teased Amila when he saw her still nervous after her meeting with the demon lord. Amila wasn't pleased with his behavior, so she ignored him and left. However, Hyraluk told her that his work was going smoothly, and he offered to show her their newest demon-made monster prototype. It was the same gigantic snake that Usato had faced, and Hyraluk called it Baljanak. Amila recalled that the previous version went missing after running away wounded against Signes. However, Hyraluk declared that the current one was much stronger, and Amila hoped it was true, as she knew that there would be more people who were more troublesome compared to Signes. Hyraluk asked if it was the kidnappers. Amila affirmed and explained that although they don't fight, they are in the middle of the battlefield and would carry the injured to the rear. She also added that their leader was a top-notch fighter who would be all over the front lines, healing people on the spot. She also knew that Rose held a deep grudge against her master, and she wanted to face Rose herself. Hyraluk reminded Amila that she was the commander this time, so she couldn't go into the battle herself. Because of this, Amila decided to send the immortal mage of darkness, the Black Knight, instead. Meanwhile, Usato woke up Blurin to give him some random fruit from the cafeteria for breakfast, and he thought Blurin was a glutton when he snatched the fruit he was eating. Kyukuru was also present, and he acted cute to get some fruit. Usato still hasn't forgotten how Kyukuru tricked him, and he refused to get fooled again. However, he still couldn't endure his cuteness in the end. Seeing Kyukuru eating happily, Blurin asked for more food. At the same time, Rose arrived. She was dumbfounded by Usato's cute interactions with Blurin, but she explained that the Majesty had given them permission to keep Blurin as a property of the rescue team. However, she told Blurin that he had to earn his keep to stay, so Blurin hid himself while shivering from fear, and even Usato was worried about what she'd ask Blurin to do. Usato was confused when Rose asked him to carry Blurin while running. She explained that it was a simulation of how he would carry and rescue injured soldiers during the battle. Usato thought it would be simple, as long as he could manage his mana. However, Rose ordered him to run faster, as the soldier wouldn't make it with his current pace. At the same time, Tong and Mill ambushed him, simulating how the demon army would try to kill him. Although he managed to escape, they reminded him to stay focused. After an hour, Gommel popped up from the ground to strike him, while Alec threw some stinky water to slow him down. Usato started to feel fatigued after 4 hours, and he barely dodged Kururu, who suddenly showed up in his path while he was distracted. Usato couldn't continue for long after this. He lied on the ground completely exhausted. Rose explained that he ran out of strength faster, as humans feel exhaustion from nervousness, fear, and impatience, especially on the battlefield. She also added that he had to get used to it so he could acquire mental fortitude and decisiveness. Then she asked him to run around the castle town while carrying Blurin, which surprised Usato. The townsfolk was worried after seeing a blue grizzly in the middle of the town. However, they suddenly stopped paying attention, so Usato was confused. At the same time, Blurin woke up after smelling something, and he asked Usato to bring him where it was coming from. It was the fruit he had for breakfast. Usato was curious what fruit it was, so the old lady explained that it was Paffles, which is the kingdom's specialty. Usato also asked why everyone was so calm despite him carrying a monster on his back. The old lady explained they were already used to seeing the scary-looking men from the rescue team, so they were hardly fazed by anything now. Usato thanked the old lady, and he promised to buy some fruit next time, but the old lady gave him one as a treat, and Blurin happily ate it before Usato continued running. Afterwards, a Tyrianthrope girl named Amako asked the old lady if Usato was part of the rescue team. The old lady affirmed and asked if there was something to the matter, but Amako said it was nothing as she watched Usato disappear into the distance. Usato decided to give Ryusen and Inukami a visit next, and while he was wondering if Blurin would be allowed to enter the castle, someone called to Usato, although Usato only noticed him when he fell while running after him. After apologizing, Orga introduced himself, saying that he wanted to say hello to Usato as his senior. Orga was amazed when he found out that Usato was actually summoned together with the heroes, although Usato had almost forgotten about it as he was so busy with his training. Orga was amazed, as he and his sister couldn't keep up with Rose's training, and instead they ran a clinic to use their healing magic for the citizens. However, Usato was confused as Orga almost passed out, unable to heal himself. Orga explained that he and his sister weren't good at healing themselves, although they were better at healing other people, so they are still part of the rescue team and tend to the wounded in times of need. Usato asked what their roles were on the battlefield, so Orga explained that Tong and others would bring the injured for them to heal at the rear. Usato explained that Rose asked him to join her in the vanguard, although he still had doubts if he could handle it. Orga was surprised, but he explained that the heroes and knights face the most danger, and once they fall injured and get left behind, all they could do is wait for death. But because of a healer like Rose, who's all over the battlefield, they could still be saved. However, since it was an extremely dangerous job, Orga was certain that Rose would only pick someone she trusted. Afterwards, Orga decided to go back, worried about his sister's scolding, so Usato also decided to continue his training. But before parting, Orga asked Usato not to hate Rose, as she was just clumsy with people. Usato asked him not to worry, saying that although he had some complaints about her, he never hated her. Orga thought Rose had finally found the right person, and when Yuru arrived to scold him, he told her how interesting Usato was. Usato arrived at the castle entrance, and he was surprised that Blurin was allowed to enter because of Rose vouching for him. And Yukami was puzzled after seeing the fluffy Blurin. Usato tried to explain how he got Blurin, but Yukami didn't listen at all, and she asked if he could touch Blurin. Usato thought it was fine, saying that he could just heal her if she got bitten. However, Blurin actually slapped her hand away. Usato suggested that she call Blurin by his name, but Blurin still bit her, and when Usato tried to stop him, he got bitten instead. Afterwards, Usato held Yukami's hand to heal her wounds, causing her to blush. Yukami also told Usato about Ryusen, who was outside the kingdom to gain some fighting experience. Ryusen was worried after hearing about the coming war against the demons, but Siglis declared that they were more confident than ever because of Ryusen and Yukami's presence. Then they prepared to engage a pack of wolves. Yukami told Usato that it would be her turn to gain some fighting experience next, but she started pouting when Usato didn't sound worried and thought she would have the time of her life. But she was actually happy that Usato had become frank with her, knowing that the war is fast approaching. Usato was even more determined to help Ryusen and Yukami, the opposite of when he could just admire them from afar in their previous world. After putting the sleeping Blurin to bed, Usato saw Rose, and she asked how his training was. Usato told her that he's getting used to his training, although he wanted to train longer. Rose agreed before turning to leave, but Usato called out to her. He explained that after barely surviving against the snake, the war against the demons caused even more fear. However, although he couldn't fight or kill, his desire to save Yukami, Ryusen, and anyone else he could is greater than that fear. Rose told him that it was perfect, as their job was to drag back all the would-be martyrs, snatch the wounded that the enemy was about to finish off, and keep those at death doors alive even if it killed him. She declared that those were their jobs as the rescue team. Usato agreed with determination, and he finally felt that he was really a member of the rescue team. Tong and the others saw everything, although they were scared to death when Rose noticed their presence. The next morning, Rose woke Usato up by dropping a heavy bag in his chest. Then she explained that the king requested that he join in Yukami's training outside the castle. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoy this video, and please subscribe so you won't miss the next part. And just comment down any anime you want to see in this channel.